Hey guys, so we are doing great. Doing live, and this is the final showdown of the Cognizant series, Internship 2021. So if you have any further questions, we have covered most of it in the previous lives. We have TQs, and we have covered it in a daily live series, and this is the end of it. So if you have any further questions, feel free to drop it in the chat so that we'll take it up for the end. Okay, so this is the final showdown, and we might have another, episode explaining on how to, uh, you know, get through this assimilation, test, and then we have a series planned, on that as well. So that might, roll out on Thursday. So you can expect that assimilation to look like cracking, tips and tricks. We'll discuss few programs and how the pattern will look like, and we will solve some questions based on that. So we have solved a couple of questions back. We have C Sharp series part 1 and part 2, which is most of it about C Sharp introduction to C Sharp and if conditions for and basic syntaxes, print statements, and other things. So if you haven't watched that yet, please do watch it. So, and the second part to this, all about building project. So we have built a e-commerce, live project. So it is built from scratch. So if you must also already started about it, you can do that, and you can see how the code works. And basically that is the thing that you have to know when you start off with the simulation test and other things. You just need to know the basics. You need to know what is class and how to create a class and how you want to create the object. So doing something the object, calling different functions, and see what you can play around with objects and other things. So that is basically what you have to know to clear or crack the simulation test. So with that said, let's start. So we have a few questions. So I don't think it will be related since your PAN number will be the same, but it is recommended to change your PAN card to the 101. So this is my voice breaking. So you don't have to postpone your UOG. So that is the so yeah. So that's it. So the PAN card is you have to have a couple of things here. The first thing is PAN card to get your salary credited to you, and the second thing is your driving license or other. You get your two-wheeler driving license, that is enough, and then you get your passport maybe. It takes just 2 to 3 hours after your time, so you can do that as well, and you get your election card as well, so that easy. It's still kind of breaking. Give me a second. So change the So is it fine now, guys? I know. Yeah, I have to reduce my screen quality a little. I think I have to reduce the screen quality. Yeah, I'll take this down. Just a second, guys. We'll come back. Okay? Just a second. If you have any questions, you can drop it in the chat so we can pick it up. So just give me a second. We'll come back. Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. Okay. So we'll continue with where we left out. Okay. The first thing you need is to PAN card video salary credited. Okay. So that is the first thing. The second thing is driving license. That is now during this time. And the third thing is you need your election card. And that one is that you can apply for if you're 18 plus. And the other card you will have it already. And passport is really important. You get it as early as possible. It just takes 2 to 3 hours from my appointment. So you will get it in a week. So the appointment you can get it in a week since when we go and go on travel. So you will get it easily. So that you can do. Most of the documentation things that you can prepare well ahead of background verification. Another semester mark sheets, you may have 10th and 12th and another mark sheet, so you can prepare that as well. So you won't have to, those kind of those documents you can prepare by yourself. So you can already have it. And when it comes to the document verification, so make sure that you have a CVP of 6. So some people have asked like, I have an backlog on my whole semester. So I don't remember the person's name. So he said like I have backlog on full semester, and he may not clear it in this attempt as well. Okay, so that was really difficult, for him to. It's not clear. Is it good now? Sure, what? Okay, voice. Is it good now? Mm. Okay, is it now good now, guys? Yeah, great, great. Okay, so I think audio solution. So what we were discussing previously is the documentation thing. So you get it done, no, perfect. Thanks, man. So what you do is you get the documentation done, in a perfect way, so that you don't get any problem with the background verification. So I have seen people who were like even my close relative who has all the skills. He has cleared all the interviews, and he, due to the background verification, some minor details, so he missed out on those things, so he didn't get the offer on Oracle. So those are the things that you need to prepare, or it is easier to prepare than other aspects. Okay, so you make sure that your background verification is, what you give is the truthful of your knowledge. So make sure that you check it twice, thrice, you make sure that is right. Okay, and you submit the documents that those are also matches with what you have said previously on your resume, or whatever, wherever you have said your things that uh, make sure that is good. And coming to today's topic, today we have the final project. So some people have haven't had any clarity on assimilation test. We will cover that in the next live. We'll have some questions, we have some problems, we'll try to solve them, and we'll try to give you where I can prepare for a simulation test, and what are the things that you can prepare in hand, so that you can easily crack it. But it is pretty, I'll tell you guys, it is pretty easy to crack it if you have some basic knowledge on programming. Okay, so if you are from CS and IT background, it is a piece of cake, you can definitely clear it. But you are from other backgrounds, like maybe non CS IT background, EC, triple E, or other backgrounds, it is a little difficult, but you can clear it easily. So it is not a no difficult thing to do, but it is pretty easy, guys. Okay, so with that said, let's start with the final project. So once you are into Cognizant, I think most people who have joined this live, or doing intern with Cognizant, or gonna do intern with Cognizant. So if for those guys, you have a final project. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to build an entire project by yourself. There is no teamwork, so you have to build it everything. Okay, so make sure that you have a project. You choose a project. So they will give you a list of projects. Okay, so they will give you an Excel sheet where you have a list of projects like 100, 150. So you have to pick from that. So once you pick projects from there, okay, so those are the tracks, or you choose it by the BU. Okay, so when the project says, the title says something related to banking. Okay, so build a banking system, or a manager, those kind of keywords that you have to look for, and choose the BUs which has banking, or
or medical or healthcare. So those are the fields that Cognizant mostly works on, banking and healthcare. So if you want to have a good project, and if you want to have some good future in Cognizant, please try to choose something related to banking and healthcare. When you have those project list, make sure that you have some keywords written down, like you have some cash flow, or you have health system, or those kind of keywords that you can note it down and see which matches with your area of interest. Or if you are from in from bio background, you have completed biology, you have taken up biology previously somewhere else, you can choose some healthcare kind of project, so that you might get a chance on healthcare project. So what project you take it at the end is what is going to decide which project you are going to go in after internship. When you enter in a full time, right, that will decide where you go in. So make sure that you have you choose a project which kind of correlates with you, and those are the two things that you can choose. Okay, the business, the banking, and you can choose healthcare. So that is for a project selection. So once you start off after selecting the project, you have to inform them this is the title that I'm going to work on. So you have some criterias. Okay, so the you have the basic criterias which has to be fulfilled. Okay, so those are the kind of requirements that is given by them. Okay, so those requirements you have to fulfill at the first thing. So you have to fulfill that. So once you are done with that, okay, so once you're done with those requirements, what you can do is you can add additional features to the web app. Okay, so you can create a progressive web app with it. You can download it on mobile. You can say to them that this is a PWA. You can use it on mobile. We have backend backend data coming in. We have a desktop notification, and there are a lot of things that you can do by with just minimal efforts. So those are the things that will impress them to put you in cool projects. Okay, so that is the only thing that will help you getting a good project. So assimilation test is the entry thing. Okay, so once you enter Cognizant, the end or the final project will be the deciding factor of it will be the deciding factor where the project you land in after your internship when you join as a full time. Okay, so that you have to keep in mind, you have to watch out for that. Make sure that you have a project, make sure that you can do it. Okay, so you don't have to stress yourself taking up a huge thing. So there are different levels of projects that they have. Okay, so you can read out the description and you can read out the requirements. Okay, and see that if you are like you are good at if you're good at ASP.NET or other frameworks, you are familiar with other tools and other emailing part, and verification code and other things, you can easily take up different or difficult projects and try to complete it. So that is one thing. And second thing is, don't try to take up some very minimal projects. Okay, there will be like very minimal projects. You have to create just two tables or just one table in some cases. You just do that, then if you present it well, even if you present it in a good manner, that is difficult for them to assess you, since that is a very easy task, and you are spending 2 to 3 weeks on doing just that thing. So that can be done in a single or 2 days of time. Okay, so you cannot say that I have been doing this for the past 2 weeks. So that is really difficult for them as well. Okay, so see, you have to show them that you are capable of doing it. You have the knowledge on different domains. You can use any tools in addition with whatever the main domain that you have been put in. If you are from ASP.NET, you can use Python as a backend API. You can if you want to send any emails, you can use the API you have built. So those things can be done. So on top of the main project that you have, you can add additional docker additional things, docker, or any additional thing that you do, or to enhance the existing requirements. It is a great advantage for you when you present it on the interview part. Okay, you might be interviewed twice. If the project is too good, you have to explain it to them. Even if the project is too good, there are two cases. Okay, one, the project is project is too easy, and the guy who explains is one of the guys explain to it, or the SME is too friendly, or he can take it up in a lighter way. Okay, so this guy is from other background other than ECE and CIT, so CS and IT, so he has done this thing at 2 weeks of time, so it is good. So some SMEs, or they have a high expectation on interns. Okay, so for those guys, if you are interviewed by those, you have to show them that you have the extra skill, then you will get a good project. So getting a good project is only the fact that you do the final project in a good and then innovative way. Okay, so there are a lot of things that innovation, other things come in. Okay, make sure that you take it up and do it in a good way. Okay, so that is the only thing that you can opt for after internship. Okay, so I think that is it for the final project. So what you have to do, and you will have an interview after that. It may take 2 to 3 weeks, and then you will be given the business BU unit and other things. Okay, so other things will be rolled out after you complete the project. So with that said, the next thing comes is the entire internship itself. So we'll cover a few things. So if you have any questions, put that in the chat. We'll take it up at the end. So the internship, what you have to do is you have to robustly study everything, like literally whatever the thing that comes to your mind, like you just type it in your Cognizant Udemy portal. You will get all the courses for the free of cost. So use it wisely, and try to learn as much as possible in your internship period. So it will help you a lot when you come out of the intern, and if you search for other, if you are going to other companies, it will be helpful. Or if you just use the same tech stack, it will be really helpful. An additional thing than rest people. Okay, so that will really help you out with make sure that you are standing out in the entire interns batch. So that those are the things that you can do. You just literally type anything, like you don't have to learn some new tech. Okay, so AR VR, or you don't have to design some 2D or 3D games in Unity or Unreal. So those are the things that you can do it. There is nothing stopping from you to do that. But make sure that you relate whatever you do with your domain. Okay, so if you are into web, make sure that you learn different of front end frameworks like React or Vue. Then you can learn Node.js, or if you are from ASP, you can concentrate more on core. Since it is cross platform, but MV is not. So you can try to focus on those your areas. Okay, so try to focus on your area, and try to relate whatever you learn, you try to relate with your domain. So that will help you a lot when you go out. Or even in Cognizant, they have different roles, right? So when client requirements comes with different web frameworks, like you have to complete this in React. So let's say React, you have to complete something. So if you have extra knowledge on React, you can definitely take it up, and you can show your skill there. So those are the things that you can easily learn while you are intern, and those are the things it will be easy for you to grasp. Okay, so that is it for where should I focus and other things. Okay, so if you have other further questions on focusing things or learning different things, you can put it in the chat. So already when the Punjab University will get internship letters. So internship letters, I'm not really sure. Okay, so since the Cognizant has some priority. Okay, so they have a list, and they might call you. It takes time for them to call. Like they have a batch. You have a certain criteria to be fulfilled by your college itself, like tier one, tier two, tier three. So based on that, you will get your internship offer letter. So most of the colleges have already got, and they have started the internship. So even in the chat, you can see there are people who have already got their interns. Okay, so they have been doing their interns. So those are the things you can expect. Okay, so when CTS internship will start, uh, we're reading for 2 months. So as I said, they have some priority. Okay, so when you meet the priority, so this time what they have done is they have called different colleges CS and IT first. So they have given priority to them, and they have given priority to them to take the assimilation test and see whether they qualify with that, and they separate them into different domains. So for last time, what how it was like a group of colleges like the area. If you're in Punjab, yeah, Punjab colleges will have a center over there, or there is a nearby center. Okay, so you will be called there, the entire college, or there is no department, or there is no kind of CS and IT, and others won't get. So everyone will be taken up in the same batch. So this time they have taken up only the CS and IT guys from various colleges. Okay, so they have given priority to them. So make sure that once you get into intern, right? So make sure that you shine. So you have to wait. So it has been 2 months. So some are still waiting for the full time offer. Okay, so to be honest with you guys, because so there are people still waiting to get their full time offer who have completed internship with me. Okay, so that is the scenario right now. So make sure that you perform well in your intern. Okay, and go take do a good final project. Okay, so that is the only thing that I can tell you right now. So moving on, what will be the domain for a mechanical student, and what's the training process? So it is not a, it doesn't depend upon you are from mechanical or other department. So you can take up the simulation test as I told you already. You can, if you clear that, you might get some, you might not get testing for sure. Okay, so that you can expect. So uh, automation testing is there, but mostly you won't be put into testing, since you have showed that I have some programming skills. I can do some code. So in the simulation test, since you have cleared it, so they might not put you there, but it all depends on the business requirement. Okay, so you have to understand that company is running due to the fact that they have different business. Okay, they have from finance, IoT. There are digital transformation taking place for few companies, and they have doing something for agricultural pharma companies, and medical healthcare is going on. So they need a vast majority of skills. But what you project yourself with, like I know all the front end and back end stuff. So once you project that to the organization, they will pick you up, and then they will train you more on that. Okay, so once you try to if you're from mechanical background, it's not, see, uh, once you are into IT fields, there is no branch separation. Okay, you are from mechanical, you cannot do this. You are from EC, you might not know this. So there is nothing. They won't separate you with branches anymore. What you know, or what tech stack you have mastered in your intern, so that will speak out. Okay, so you cannot say that I have not been trained on this, so I cannot take up this project. So you can never say that. So you have to learn. Okay, so there is no something called brand separation anymore. So you have to first understand that, and then you can move on to other areas. Okay, so once you start with IT, you can definitely learn that. There is no like see, CS and IT guys have been studying the same programming for 4 years. Okay, so you can pick it up in 4 to 6 months of time. Okay, so once you dedicate your entire day for programming, you can definitely pick it up in 2 to 3 months. Okay, that is the times when that is needed. So you don't need 4 years of time to master. You cannot master in 4 to 5 months, I would say, but you will get the basic knowledge on how what is programming and other things. Okay, so I will be doing a couple of series on how to learn programming. Okay, so that is really important. So most people have taught you like they will start coding this is a binary tree, and this is a linked list. So there are different types of linked list, circular linked list and other things. So I won't be doing that. I will teach you how you have to learn, so that you get a better idea of how programming works, and what is the uh, background process that is running when you execute a simple line of code. So those are the things that I have planned for next couple of months. So if you're interested in that, please do subscribe and get your notifications done so that you will get updated on all those things. And then we will start with ASP.NET series, which is dedicated for Cognizant people. So if you're into Cognizant intern with ASP.NET, I'll be guiding you step by step. So what you have to learn and no other things. Okay, so we'll do an entire video series which will run for 2 months at least. So we'll have 2 to 3 videos, two videos per week, so that you brush up your ASP.NET skills. So that is it for ASP.NET and other things. So moving on, I think that is done. Prakash, can we expect Salesforce domain as a pressure? Yeah, of course. So as I said, there are requirements for everything. Okay, so the Cognizant works with various different clients. So they have the clients from various places and various backgrounds. So once you, even if you don't get it, okay, so try to learn Salesforce by yourself. So try to master or try to at least learn what is the basic, Salesforce and other things. So when a business requirement comes in, when you are in a project, when you have to do something with Salesforce, you can definitely jump into that and you can continue your Salesforce journey. So that is the easiest thing that you can do. You can expect, but uh, as a Salesforce developer, or you want to do some with SaaS and other platforms, you might get a chance. I won't say you will get it 100%, but there is a chance of doing getting that. Moving on, do we need passport or driving license during gaining as full time? Definitely, man. For full time, it is recommended that those are the basic mandatory things when you are when you cross 18 plus, or when you come out of college. So most people will be 18 plus since you are in the fourth year. So you can definitely apply for all the four things that I have said for documentations. So it is recommended that you keep it at hand. You have a scanned copy with Microsoft Lens. You have full scan copy of both the sites, so that even if you're in any kind of trouble, you can do a lamination of those things and you can show it. So it won't that is a duplicate card, but you can just at least show you have a card. Like, that is really important that you have it. Yeah, again, Prakash, what level of basic topics they will start training? So they will start entirely from scratch. Okay, so they will start purely from scratch. What is C sharp and why we use it. So you will have a documentation which gives you day by day details. So this is for the day one you have to learn this, for day two you have to learn this, for day three you have to learn this. So they have a scheduled plan, so you will definitely follow that plan. Week one, week two, at the end of week two you might have a 4 hours of exam, or at the end of the month you have ICT, you will have that. So you have a scheduled thing going on. Okay, so you have to cope up with that and then move on. So that is the scenario that you will be put in. So try to, you don't have to learn anything before. If you don't want to learn, it is absolutely fine. You will be starting from scratch. But if you want to learn a few things, you can start now. You learn the basics, and you can definitely build on top of that when you enter into internship. So I highly recommend that you prepare earlier. When you, even if you like, someone said I have been waiting for 2 months. So if you're waiting for 2 months, you can definitely learn something, right? So if you learn something for 2 months, then when you enter Cognizant, you can practice the same with Udemy and other platforms that they give you. Okay, so that will be added advantage for you when you have the final project. Okay, so you can showcase those 2 months of time what you have learned. You can show that to them, so that you will get a good project. So I think that is the priority for you guys as well, getting into a good project. So I hope that answers your question, Prakash, for the topic. So if you want to get into more details, we have a series. As I said before, we have a ASP.NET series that will be commencing maybe 2 weeks from now. We'll start after mid. So after few people get into internship, we will start the series, and we'll tell you how to learn ASP.NET and why and other things. Other factors will be teaching you, how you can progress with ASP.NET. Since I am from CA, ASP.NET, I've been working on that. I can tell you more on that. If you are interested in Django, so I have planned another series for Django as well, Django and the Django REST framework. So we'll try to catch up with those two. Okay, so yeah, you can expect those two, shortly. So I think life balance is cognizant. Why many cognizant employees start their own YouTube channel? Is it? I'm not sure, man. So I started this YouTube channel, like I know there are, like, I get like 15 to 20 messages yearly on LinkedIn. Okay, I get like, I know what you will do in Cognizant and how the internship will be, and I was getting series of questions on that. So that was the inspiring thing for me to start. I had a channel earlier, okay, where for being creators we do a talk show every Sunday. So so you can definitely check out that as well. Okay, so being creators is the channel name. So being creators, the billionaires advice. So you can check that out if you are in your free time. So I'm not sure, man. Life balance is pretty good. So you don't, you just get a minimal work. So if you want to work harder, you can do, or if you want to chill out, you can do that as well. So to be honest, that is the fact. So in any company, you will get that, but that depends on the project as well. Okay, so for the first year, you can chill out, since you are called as trainee, and once you get out of the trainee, it is really difficult. So you will have a good, good life balance. So depends. The CTS provide facilities like food, gym, badminton, playground. What do they cost? So you don't have to pay anything for those. Okay, so you can use it everything for free. It depends on the location. Okay, some locations have it, some location don't. So some locations have these playgrounds. So if you have, there are a couple of videos on in YouTube, you can watch it. Like, they have a tour of different cities. Okay, so I'll be putting that for Bangalore if you are interested in that. But after joining full time, you will go to the entire BU. Okay, so once you are trainee, you might not get all those facilities, but once you are into full time, right, you will be going to the main office. So that is where you will get all those facilities there. So because, is there any chance of sorry, is there any chance of return to office in the meantime during training? So you won't. I don't think you will. You won't be called. In between your intern. So that will be really hectic for them, since they have planned everything. So they have to reschedule everything. They have to, allocate different places, and they have to see where where you can be put in. So that I know that will be difficult. So you might be feeling the entire virtual things of this time. But some cases, till April we have some news, like, you won't be returning to office till April. So I don't think you will be called after that as well. So for full time, you will get into office. I hope this pandemic ends by then. What is the enhanced salary and growth for Gen Z? So enhanced salary, I think you have four, right? Four LPA they have said for Gen Z. So growth really depends on you. So once you start learning different tech, and you can switch internally, you have different platforms where you can switch internally. So you can apply with certifications. If you are interested in AWS, you are practicing cloud, or DevOps, you are practicing machine learning. We can apply for those roles. So once you apply for those roles, you will definitely grow after that. So once you start your first step, you will definitely grow in that project. Once you are done with the project, you can definitely grow. You can skyrocket in that field. So once you start off, so starting off is the difficult thing. Once you're standing out of the crowd, right? I know machine learning. I have deployed few models on Azure or AWS or other platforms. So once you do that, you are standing out from the crowd. So you can apply for various projects, where people work on that, and then you can get in. There are tons of jobs. I will tell you, like, 3 to 4 thousand vacancies. You can just go to careers.cognizant.com. You will get all the vacancies and what is the stance of the number of people needed in Cognizant. Is there any exam in or after internship? Yeah, you will have the final project. So you don't have any exams. Okay, it is the final project that you have to do that will decide what project you go and at the location, and other deciding factors will be based on that. I hope that answers your question, Virat. Okay, Shivakumar, tell about Oracle DB domain. Okay, PeopleSoft is the pretty old thing. So, but people still use it. Okay, I'm not sure about the DB domain. So database administration is another different domain altogether. So administration, see, the Oracle DB or DB admin is kind of administering the entire database and other structures. So you will just have some maintenance work there. So you don't do any development, but you will just see that the database is fine, the health is fine, the traffic is good. It doesn't the traffic is not too overwhelming for the servers. So you have to do those kind of works. Is there any exam? Yeah, I think I answered the question. So, Virat, if you're there, please do delete those. So you have to. So moving on, Kishore, what are the different domains in Cognizant? Like you said, finance and banking. So you have various domains. So it is too much. There are something called as verticals and horizontals. Okay, so in Cognizant, once you get into Cognizant, you will know all those details. So I cannot share it in public. So you have few things. Okay, domains, or you have domain. Cognizant works with at most all the companies in the world. Okay, they work with SAP, they with Microsoft, they work with all the people. But the problem is that people are not aware of it and people don't apply for those projects. So internally you can switch. Okay, so once you get in, you can definitely switch. But they work on all different domains. Like finance and banking is a single domain. Like that is a vertical. So they have some verticals and horizontals which are something confidential. So those are the things they work on entire field, where you can just name any company in any healthcare company in US. Cognizant will have a tie-up with them. Cognizant will be providing all the services to them. So that is how Cognizant works. Okay, I also have 1,000 subscribers. Okay, great man, great Kijor. Good. So, Kumar, is it possible to switch from Django or Android app development after turn? So Django, I really love to work on Django since I am working on some freelance project on that. So Android app, so that is the thing that I told you, right? So you develop your skills. Okay, so Android app you can build it in Kotlin or Flutter. So if you work with Android Studio, you can build some apps, and you can have it on your Google Drive basically, and ask them to download and see how it works and other things. You can show all your extra or additional things on your final project. So that will help you a lot in you know getting into a good project. So even if you don't get it, okay, don't feel bad. Once you completed the first year, right? So once you are done with the first year, you can definitely switch internally. So you have the skill, you work on Django, or you work on Kotlin or Flutter or Dart. So any Android framework. So once you have the skill, right, you can definitely apply for those and get it. So there is nothing stopping you from doing that. You can definitely switch after a year. Okay, thanks Prashkas for the answer. When will the internship start? So that depends on your college and your background and other things. So you might expect in the mid Feb or March. So since most people have been called already, so you are the the final batches are left, final 3 to 4 batches of left maybe. So you will be called. In salary for the full time fresher. So after full time, right? So 25 to 26 you can expect for 4K. Sorry, 4L. For LPA you can expect 25 to 26. So that is the max. I hope that answered your question, Sai. Varun, can we opt for the companies after finishing intern? CTS definitely, Varun. You can definitely switch once you complete the intern. So since CTS has no bond, you can definitely switch after intern. Yeah, Vikas. So thanks for the answer. Virat again, what are the languages they used during internship? So that depends on the domain. Okay, so once you get Spring Boot, you use Java. Once you are into ASP.NET, .NET domain, you use C Sharp, or you are into data warehousing, you use Python. So it depends on your domain. Which domain you go in, the language is dependent on entirely on the domain. C2C login prompt any solution. Okay, Abhinav, you have a login problem. You have you been assigned with a password? No reset. So they will once you join in the induction program, they will send you a link to reset your password. So you can do it by then, or you can call the help desk. GST you can trace. Abhilash. Career growth in CTS. So career growth really depends on you, as I know told before. Like you have the skill, right? Well, once you get acquire the skills. Okay, so the first thing that you at least fulfill the basic requirement. So I want to work on DevOps. Okay, I have few foundation certifications on different. I have one for Oracle. I have one for Azure. Once I have those, I can apply for internal switching of projects. So I want to work on these domains. I see in my location whether we have a project of where people work on DevOps and other things. You can reach out on LinkedIn, or you can even reach out on Teams if you are into intern. If you have access to it, you can reach out to people and ask like if there is any vacancy in their project, or you can even go to their careers. You can switch internally. So career growth really depends on what you do. Okay, even if you are not put into a good domain, you can do freelancing. Okay, so you will learn a lot in freelancing. Okay, so I have been learning a lot for a year or so. So freelancing is a great way to learn different things. It is like working for a startup, right? So you are not into a startup, but you are not taking any risk of the startup, but you work for this an environment where you work like a startup. So if you are getting a good freelance project, like let's say you are building an entire platform from scratch, you will learn all the nuke corners and other security and other threats. You will learn the entire complete system of from this building an entire application. So even if you don't get a good domain in Cognizant or any company, for example, if you don't get any good domain, you can definitely start off with freelancing. So I highly recommend that you pick up at least one freelancing work, so that you at least get to know what they do and what will be like hands-on or real-time experience or real-time business requirement. So that I highly recommend that you do that. I mean, I am having can I choose? Most of the service companies are the same, right? So they have the same, starting point, or the same, flow to it. Okay, even in this pandemic, they have the same flow. So what you can do is you can see like CTS and TCS. TTS has don't have any bond. So if you're planning to switch earlier, or if you are planning to in a year or so, you can definitely join Cognizant. You can learn a lot of things with you don't have much work. you can learn different things and then you can switch. So that is a great place where you can learn things and switch. So if you're planning to do that, you can join CTS, or else you can go with Tata. So that is the thing that I can tell you right now. Current how is Chennai CTS office? So there are like 5 to 6 offices in Chennai. So that is the main headquarters for Cognizant in India. That is the main place for Cognizant. They have ton of facilities. You can look it in the Google Maps, so you will find all the images there. So you can look it up in there. So I'm in Bangalore, so I'm not sure how it is in Chennai, but you have no. That is the headquarters for Cognizant in India. So what will be the prerequisites for a mechanical trainee in order to meet the pro equal to current batch trainee? So prerequisites are like, as I said, you can learn the basics, right? You have few things to be taken care before the internship. So since you are from mechanical, you might not have been exposed to different programming languages and how things work. So you can learn from the basics, right? So you can start off with some basics and then you can build on top of that. Once you get into internship, you can start developing things instead of wasting your time doing the scrap work, starting from basics. When people start off with basics, you can develop on you can go into web development. So that is the small trick that you can do. You can start off earlier if you have time. You can definitely start off with different programming languages. If you want, you can start with C sharp or Python or any language that you like. If you're starting off just now, okay, so you haven't heard of any languages, you might seen C and C++. So once you have some basics of C and C++, you can definitely move into Python. Once you move into Python, you can go to C sharp. So learn the basic programming aspects. So OOPS concepts are the main of what you are doing with programming and other things. So it stays the same for any programming language. Okay, so you can definitely learn those basics which are common to all the languages. So design patterns and your uh, concepts and other things are pretty basic. So you can learn those concepts and then you can apply it, and that will be like giving you a boost that you are ahead of people who are in current batch or other CS and IT background assets. So Bilash, great to see. Okay, Virat, which branch they are gonna pressure? So I cannot say that. Really depends. Chennai, we have all the domains, since that is the headquarters for Cognizant. Uh, they have all they work on all the fields. Okay, as I said, they have different domains. You can be put into any branch. That depends on the project and the business requirement. So if they need 2 people in React, if they have 10 people, they have a requirement for 10 people in ASP.NET or Spring Boot. You have a great chance of you going into those ASP.NET or Spring Boot. So if you're doing performing pretty well, then you have a chance of getting into the two positions they have for React. So it depends upon the business requirement. So if most clients switch to React, okay, so there is a demand for React developers. So suddenly there will be a demand. So once you learn the advanced technologies, you will be on demand anyways. So try to learn those advanced technologies so that you are on high demand. So you will get a good pay and good project to work on. Which is the best platform freelancing? I use LinkedIn, so there are different platform, freelancer.com, Upwork, Fiverr. So I never used any of those, but I did use it, so just to see what is the rate that freelancers need. I was really astonished when I saw like $15 a hour for a Django developer. So $15 per hour is equivalent to like 2 to 3 thousand, right, per hour. So I was really astonished by seeing that. So people really pay well for freelancing. So if you don't even get a good job, or even if you don't get a good domain, you can definitely do freelancing and still survive. So I really recommend LinkedIn to get clients. So that is a pretty legit platform where you can do. But Fiverr and other things are good, but you have to pay. So even the both parties have to pay. The client has to pay their to advertise their things, and you have to pay to get your coins and credits to apply for those jobs. So in LinkedIn, you don't have any. You have your profile, and the client has his own profile. You can see what matches, and he's see legit on other things you can see, and you can go ahead. Bangalore office good. It is not about the office, but you have a project. But Bangalore, they have like two offices. Okay, so those it's not about good, but you might have a good facilities in Chennai or Bangalore. If you have sorry, in Bangalore you have good facility. So Chennai was first initiated, like first building and other things. So you might have the older facilities and other things. So Bangalore is pretty new, and they have well established metropolitan city, so they might enhance features there as well. So Chennai is also not bad, but it was established at the first. Like if you go to IIT Madras and IIT Bombay, right? So those are like the legends or the older products. If you go to VIT, Chennai and Velu, you have SRM maybe. Those are like the new buildings, right? So that is the kind of feel that you will have if you come to Bangalore. Okay, moving on. I hope that answered your question, Varun. Sai again. When can we get full-time location? So once you complete your full the project, right, the final project, that will decide what location you go in, what domain you go in. Other things will be based on your final project. So that you will only get after getting inside sorry, after completing your intern. You have to wait. You will be evaluated on an interview, and after that you can expect this thing, and then you will be given the notification that you have been put into this location. So mostly you will get your preferred locations, but there are some cases that you might not. Thus, how do you balance both fields? So for a year, it was pretty good. So in Cognizant, if you are good at coding, right, you can just complete all the hands-ons and other things what they have. You can complete it in a week, in a day. Okay, they will have this for a week. You can just complete it within 1 or 2 days, and then you can start working on freelancing. But we are still at home, right? So I have been doing freelancing for more than a year now. So since we are at home, it is pretty easy for me to balance with both, since you have less work with Cognizant since you are just starting off. And so once you know the things, right? So once you know what to build, and what to do with Django or other frameworks, it'll be like a piece of cake for you to build things from scratch. So if you have built few things from the scratch, your first two freelancing work will take a long time, and it will be like hell of a week if you are doing it from scratch. So once you start off with scratch, right, when you take up other freelancing work after 2 to 3 works, so you can use the same code, you can use the same backend authentication and other things. So that will remain the same for most of the cases. So you can build things faster, and balancing is like if you want to work, if you want to, it is not about earning the extra cash. So I don't really recommend that you do freelancing for extra cash. So that is really like waste of time. So that you can do another job, or like you can do some other thing to get extra cash or other things. But if you want to know things, as I said, if you don't get a domain that you don't if you don't get a domain they don't like, or if you're into those times like me, I really work on Django. They have put me in ASP.NET. So if you want to really work on Django, then the only thing that you can do is you can do freelancing on Django, right? So that is the, you want to balance, right? So you have 9 to 6. Then if you are traveling, you cannot do freelancing work on the weekday. You can do it on weekends. So Saturday Sundays are off, so you can definitely do some work on Saturdays and Sundays. So you can definitely do that. But Saturdays and Sundays there are freelancing works which require you to work on only on Saturdays and Sundays. If you are into that, you can definitely do that. Saturdays and Sundays you have to spend. You cannot party, or if you cannot go to any place. You have to sacrifice few things. So I think that answered your question based for life balancing. Arun, how are projects in Bangalore? I have not given my first full location as well. So it is fine that you don't give, but so in Bangalore, right? If you want more details, so there are everywhere there are projects. Okay, so the main project where it comes to, people say that Pune and Bangalore gets most the latest tech, since people are there. Okay, so people from Bangalore, or people from students from Bangalore or students from Pune are trained on that, or they have the skill. So uh, since it is a metropolitan city, people are already aware of different things, so they have few things. Okay, so the training goes on those latest technologies, and they are put into those latest technologies as such. So if you want to get a good view on what are the projects they work, you can just go to careers.cognizant.com. You go to Bangalore location or any location that you want. You can see what are the projects or what are the roles that they have. So once you know what are the roles that they have, you can easily know what projects they work on. So they know want to React or cybersecurity. There are a lot of roles in Cognizant. There are not being filled. So if you are like learning anything, literally you will get all the job listings there. So that is the thing that I highly recommend, that you go to careers.cognizant.com, you will get all the details there. So preferred location. So what is the preferred location, Varun? I'm not sure. I think it is Chennai. So moving on, Aditya, when does TNC next? So you, since you got the confirmation late, right? So you are the priority guys, right? So you have been filtered in the internship itself. Not like you have been clearing the assimilation test and going forward. You have cleared the interview of Gen Z Next. So once you do that, you become the priority. So internship will start maybe at starting of May. Okay, so you will be trained on maybe on the latest tech. Okay, so you might get a good project. I would say I wouldn't say 100% you will be getting it, but since you are the preferred ones, right? So you have showcased that you have the knowledge of programming in even in the interview itself. So you have a better chance of getting a good project out of the box. So you are not like Gen Z Next. You have to clear the assimilation test and see whether you get a good domain or not. So the domains doesn't matter actually. Okay, so uh, you work on whatever domain you are put in. Okay, so you work on, you get the experience, right? So once even if even the latest greatest companies like Google, Microsoft, or Apple works on legacy techs still now. Okay, so they have few machines on legacy tech. So if you are trained on that in Cognizant, when you go to Microsoft or any other product-based companies, if someone is needed to work on those, you will be preferred guy, right? So learning is never going to be wasted. Okay, you have to at least show the dedication to the company, that if you are put in other domains, you have to show that I can work on those as well. So I hope that answered your question, Samir. What is FSC in training in Cognizant? So that is a full stack, role. So you might be trained on React or ASP.NET or even Node.js. So it depends. So even Next.js and other things are there. You might be trained on that. So Ramoj, are we supposed to do any project at the end of internship? Yes, man. So this is the entire life dedicated for that. So if you want, you can check out the first, a couple of minutes, so that you will get an idea of what is the project and how do you choose it, and other things I have said it in the first place. What happens after training in Gen Exchange FSC? So full stack, you might be put into some domain which is related to what you have learned. So if you have learned React, you might be put into a project which involves React. Okay, so that is the most likely case, but there are chances that you might not even get. So there is a chance that you might get or you may not get. Thanks for answering my question. Yeah. So it is not about good or bad. Okay. So it is about the project. So the domain is, let's say, Microsoft works on ASP.NET. So I don't really like ASP.NET. It is not that the domain is bad. Okay, so ASP.NET, most companies use, Microsoft uses it, Microsoft maintains it. So it is not the domain is bad, but I don't like working with ASP.NET. I pretty much like Django. So that is depends upon your personal interest and what you want to work on. Okay, so that really depends. So it is not that it is bad, okay, which is good or bad. Full stack is good. Okay, so if you are into, you can design HTML pages, you can create backends. So if you're good at doing that, you will enjoy full stack. So I hope that answered your question. Formulas, I have experience in React, Redux, Firebase, Android, Node, Express, MongoDB, Postgres, and machine learning. How do you suggest I go forward? So there are a couple of things that you can do. So since you know React, Android, when I'm not sure if you know Kotlin. So Postgres, MongoDB. So I just concentrate on single domain. Since machine learning is too vast, you cannot say I have some experience in machine learning. Machine learning is a vast field. You have NLP, you have image processing, you have video processing, and your speech recognition. You have a ton of thing in machine learning. So you need to specify that which you have worked on, projects that you worked on. You need to specify that in any interview. So you cannot say that I am experienced in machine learning. So you need to specify that. So if you are freelancing, you can say that. You can say that I build machine learning projects. So you never know what is the requirement of the client, right? So if you want different domains, you can just put it. I work on machine learning projects. So that depends really on your interest. So if you are interested in machine learning, you can continue that. That is getting hyped. Most people have already started machine learning. If you are, it is too late. I wouldn't say that is too late, but it is pretty late to start right now. So you can definitely start off with a machine learning if you are really interested into that. Since it is a vast domain and it is still a developing domain, and you can do a lot of with the machine learning. Okay, so backends and Postgres and other things are, those are the helping tools. Okay, so you Postgres, MongoDB. So once you start with web development, right? So you the backends doesn't matter at all. You use MongoDB, it will be the same. Postgres will be the same. You use Django, right? You have ORM. You connect, ORM for MongoDB. You connect ORM for SQLite. If you use it, you connect MySQL and other things. Okay, so that takes care of all the model building and other things. Once you want to query something on the real database, the syntax is a little different for Postgres. I have seen some differences in uh, var and select and other statements where you have to in table design you have to the primary key and other things you have to take care of. So but when you're using a ORM, right, like you are using it in Django, you never require you to create table by yourself. The ORM does the migration, does everything for you. So if you're really interested into that, you can definitely do that. So the interest matters a lot. So I hope that answered your question. So you can take up freelancing work, man. So if you're really interested into that, try to take up freelancing work and see if you're interested into that. That is the easiest thing that you can do. Here I am currently getting training in ADM. What domain? So what domain you work? What no, tech stack you work on? If you are working on React and other things, you can definitely you will get the same domain, man. You won't get different things. You will be trained on something else, and you won't be put in different domains. So both will be the same. They will match you with that. So the package is for LPA. You are saying 6 max. Why is it is, uh, 27 marketing? They have a few facilities like they have uh, uh, healthcare, like they have insurance for all your family members, like four of them, like your parents and your spouse. So they cover all those, and they have other perks as well. So they take it up. Yeah. Those are the things. It is not like more than five other companies. I'm not sure on other companies, but you will get 26. So that is what I have been getting. So yeah. So Manish, bro, my package is 4.5. So it's after 1 year of training. Yeah. So you will be getting 4 LPA for a year, and after that you will be getting 4.5 or 4.4 based on your whatever they have stated in the offer letter. They will be paying you that. So where can I get freelancing job? You can search in for LinkedIn. So you can promote yourself on LinkedIn. You can search in there, or you can search on Freelancer or Fiverr or Upwork. There are a lot of sites you can refer, or you can join some WhatsApp groups. I really got a first freelancing job on WhatsApp. So this guy texted me, like texted on the WhatsApp group, like there is a project in Python. Would you anyone be able to take it up? So I thought that was my first thing. So I thought of freelancing, and I immediately said, I replied to that guy stating that I just started off with freelancing work and I would do it for free. So when I say that, he did give it to other guy as well. So I was doing it parallelly. So I told him that you can give it to someone else, and I will also be doing the same thing for free. So let's see how things go. So that is how I started with my freelancing career. So you do something for free, right? So you I wouldn't say that you shouldn't charge for doing it for free. But when you start off, right, you never know what you have to do and what will be the requirement and other things. So you can do it for free and see what the real business requirement, or what is the real thing, the business requirement that is out there. So once you see that, you can definitely charge whatever you want, or whatever you work on. So that is how I started off. What is the time period of propagation? So they don't have so 1 year of training, right? So they don't kick you out after a year. So Cognizant never does that for a fresher. So 1 year you will be known as a trainee. Okay, so for a year when you start off after like a full time, once you complete your intern, once you start off with full time, so for a year you will be trainee, and after that you will go into full fledged no project. So you will start working with all the projects. So you can switch whatever domains you want. You will be like a full fledged employee of Cognizant. Even in the first year you will be like that, but you will be known as a trainee. So that is the difference. Ramoji may know when the simulation test conducted. Is it before the start of the internship or? So for the simulation test, you join after you join Cognizant, as an intern, you will have it in the first week. So the first week you might have it on the day 3, day 4, or day 5 maybe. It really depends. Once you start off with the induction program on the day 1, you might have some 2 days of training on other platforms and what is Cognizant and other things. Once you are done with that, they will give you a link where you can take up the simulation test. So you might expect the same on a week. We again, do we get an internship completion certificate? What if I don't accept the full time offer? Will I get the certificate? So for the certificate, so you will get a certification. So once you complete the training, right? So even before you take up the final project, maybe that might be the case, but you will get the certification of intern. Okay, so once you do this, once you complete the intern, you can reject the offer after they roll out the offer. So you cannot, you don't have to say anything to them that I won't be joining with you. But what you can do is you can just reject or deny the offer when they give you that. Okay, after intern they will roll out certifications. They will give you the certificate once you done with the intern. So after intern, you can definitely state that I'm denying this offer due to this reason. So whatever user reason you have, you can just put it there and you can deny. So I hope that answered your question. Arun bro, whether data joining and internship are same. Okay, date of joining and internship was same. I don't really understand what you mean by that. The date of joining is where you join as a full-time employee. Okay, so internship starting days is where you start off with intern. So people really confuse that. I really had the same confusion. So date of joining is where you join into something, right? So it is literally it means that you join into something. So Abhilesh, do you things for the front end yourself or do you buy templates? So there are free templates, man. You don't have to buy it from anywhere. So there are plenty of free templates available. The end-to-end bootstrap, the entire bootstrap is available on creative team. If you want to build anything, you can just change few things there. So they have everything. The bootstrap, the entire bootstrap is there. Or even if you can download the bootstrap and you can just change the base colors. So that will really look like a new UI. So if you really want to design something new, it will take a really long time, and the client will never wait for that. Okay, so really you don't have to do that, and it is really like if you want to buy, you can just buy it. Like if you can pay for it, you can definitely do that. But there are free templates available on GitHub. If you search, there are free templates available. The entire Bootstrap is available for free. So even if you want to customize the bootstrap, you can just download the bootstrap itself for the four version, and you can just change few colors, and for the buttons you can just add few some css into that. Then that will become a new UI. So if you want to build some glass UI or other high end UI stuff, then you have to work seriously on other things. But the base for everything is the base bootstrap 4 version 4 or 3. So that depends on your other different latest version 2 3 4 or whatever they have. Try to use the latest version so you get the latest updates and other things. This package change after training for an FSC that I had a part. So what salary that they have mentioned in your offer letter will be the final. Say they don't change the packages as of when you once you switch to different project after a year, you might see if you go to DevOps or machine learning, you might see an increase in your package. But uh, during your training or after the training, you won't see any difference in your package. So the first year is fixed. The first year, whatever they have said, 4.5 or 4 is the fixed salaries that they give. So after a year, when you switch, you will get a good pay, or you can get a different package. That is based on your skill set. Okay, that is done, Shamir. Anthony, which is the best platform to learn Flash? So, I dear Rod, do you recommend you learn Flash? So, if you're really new to web frameworks and other things, it is recommended that you learn Flask. I started off with Flask. To be frank, I started off with Flask when I built a machine learning model. I just needed 2 to 3 pages. I used Flask to build them. Uh, so there is an API which is called when you submit a image to the machine learning model, and it generates the results, and gives back to the UI with with Ajax. You send the request and get the results back. So if you start off, if you are starting really fresh, so you have never seen a web framework in action, or you have never built anything in web frameworks, you can start off with Flask, but I really recommend that you go with Django after that. So just see, the Flask and Django will be mostly the same. Okay, just the templates and other things will change, but the structure is with Django. So the entire structure will be on Django. You can just use the structure, but you won't get the structure in Flask. Okay, so Flask is like a minimal or micro architecture, if you want to call it. Uh, no, that if you are like if you want to build or deploy some machine learning models, the Flask is enough to do that. Like if you want to just create some APIs, you can use Flask. But once you want to run a full-fledged application, web application for an enterprise, you have to use Django or any other frameworks .ASP.NET Core or any other Spring Boot or any other frameworks, good frameworks, since mostly enterprise and other big projects will be based on Django. You won't use Flask for those, so make sure that you at least have some knowledge on Django after that, after learning Flask. And for best platforms, there is a query. You can just type that in YouTube. You will get that guy. So that tutorial is very good for Flask if you want to learn it. Or if you know further frameworks, you can just read the documentation. You have everything in the Flask documentation. You just copy and paste the code. You can get started with Flask. Even it is the same for Django. You can just start off with Django with just the documentation that they have. They have get started documentation. You can just go with the documentation. So I'll also do a quick tutorial on Django and ASP.NET, so you can expect that in a couple of weeks. So we'll do that. So I hope those are all the questions that we had. So we'll wait for a few more minutes for any questions to come in, and then we will wind up this session. It's been too long, so thanks guys for staying in for a long time. So I know it's been a 1.5 hour live, so thanks a lot for staying in. So if you have any further more questions, feel free to drop in the chat. We'll wait for a couple of minutes and then we will close the live. So another important thing that I forgot to mention in this live is that okay, what I have to learn apart from the domain, like that we have previously discussed, like what are the things that you can do, but try to find your interest. So what is the thing that you are interested in? If you are interested in machine learning, if you are interested in data science or data analytics, so really find that during the intern. So that will really help you out on upcoming days. So once you decide that in the first year or so, you can definitely build on. You can just move on with that track. So if you don't know what you have to work on and you are still searching after a year or so, it really becomes difficult. Once you go out of Cognizant or any other organization, if you don't know still what domain I am good at or what domain I want to work, it is really difficult. So you can definitely check out that. Once you are into Cognizant, you can learn different domains and see what is your interest on, what your interest depends on. So my guess is intern gonna be easy because the topics are tough to look at. So I hope you have started your intern already. So the intern is it is not like it is easy. If you're good at programming, it will be like a piece of cake. You can just complete the hands-ons and other things in a 2 to 2 days or so. 1 day or 2 days, you can just really complete all the hands-ons and you can be free. But it won't be like easy or difficult. It really depends on what your skill set and what you have worked on. So if you are into Java and if they allocate Spring Boot for you, then it is pretty easy for you. You can just go ahead and you already know Java. You can like skip 3 to 4 weeks of training since you already know Java. So that will be the most. Topics are tough. It is tough when you look at it for the first time. Even when I started off with Flask, right? So someone has Anthony has asked like start with Flask. So when I look at it, Django. When I was learning Flask, people most when I Google Flask versus Django, most people say that starters Flask is a good and Django is pretty difficult to start, and Django is used for huger applications and other things. once you start off with Django, right, it becomes easier, becomes lighter when you start off with something. So by looking at it, it will be like difficult, or it will be really difficult when you just look at it for the first time. But once you start, right, once you start you know with the topics, or once you start with the training, it will be very easy to go ahead and complete those tasks. So I hope that answered your question, Mahesh. Moving on, Bhavya Sharma again. So when do we get our stipend? My date of joining was 16th, but yeah, for this thing, someone even had asked me like, but you might have got your first salary on end of Jan, but I'm not sure why you didn't get that. But Cognizant calculates it by that that case. So if you are joined on 16th of Jan, you will get every end of the month, before the month ends 31st, or 29th, if you have 31st on the month, you will get the you will get your pay on early morning. So that is the case for, that is the most predominant case. But this time I'm not sure why you guys haven't got, but you will get, you might raise this to your coaches. So I really not sure why you haven't got your salary stipend, sorry. uh, but you might raise this to your coach since it is 16th, and you still haven't got it. So what tech stack you work on, Bhavya? So let's move on until then. So Magesh, and still about exit exam and assimilation, technical training. So for the technical training, right? Uh, I between the exams will be like for a week. It really depends on your domain, and different days you will have different. Weekly they have exams, but it is not weekly, I would say. It depends on when you complete that. So once you complete a portion of the learning, you will have a test. You will have an assessment, like what you have learned throughout the week. You throughout the week, or uh, throughout the entire set, you will have a assessment on that. So exit test is like, you don't have an exit exam or something. You have a final project that you have to do. You have to complete that to get into get into a good domain. That is it for assessment and other things. So assessment will be pretty easy once you start concentrating on your domain. So if you're concentrating on domain, it will be pretty easy, I would say. So you have to definitely concentrate on that during your internship. So Sai, how many months I get intern stipend until you are intern with Cognizant? Basically 4 to 5 months, but it really depends on the number of months you are being with Cognizant. You will get the stipend for that. So I hope that answered your question. Anishan, my college TPO informed me that I am selected in Cognizant in 19th December, but didn't get my internship date till now. So I have been telling this for quite a while now. So that really depends on what your college, what belongs on your location and other factors. Okay, so if your college is in tier 3 or tier 2, or you are from you are from apart from CS and IT background, it is really difficult for them to call you this time. So you have to definitely wait for that. You might get on next week or so. So you have to definitely wait until then. There is no second thought on that. Yes, will there be any interviews before sending a project? Yeah, you will have one final project, and once you do the final project, you will have an interview, which will uh, uh, which will be the deciding factor. You will be put into project, or again you will be put into training if you fail to crack the interviews. If you are failing to crack the interview, you will be put into training again. You will have to do another project, and even if you don't clear it in the second attempt, right? uh, you don't clear it in the second attempt, then you might be terminated, or you won't get the offer letter. that is the most likely case that you will have. On is Cognizant increasing work hours to 10 hours. So I don't think it is on news yet. So most companies have that, I guess. Accenture also has the same work hours. So I can tell you it in private. So yeah, I'm not sure it is in news yet. So moving on, someone asked me is a simulation test before joining our. So once you start, your internship, right? So once you start with the internship, you will have your test in the first week. So that answers your question, I guess. So let's see if we have any further more questions. So is there any chance to change our domain like from agency? So agency is not a domain, man. So it is like a group or separation. So cybersecurity, as I said, if you have the skill, if you have the skill of pen testing or whatever you want to do with cybersecurity, if you have the skill, you have a certification, CEL certification, then you can definitely, go with, you can definitely apply for the project and you can definitely get that. So it is not about, you won't get it, but you have to show that I know this, I have the skill and I know it. So that is the only thing that you have to show. Then you will get the project that you need. That is the most likely situation. So Bhavya, in terms of the working hours will be increased from 9 hours to 10 hours. So yeah, so even for is it for the interns? So we did get a mail regarding the same, but yeah, but I'm not sure it is still on the news, so I'm not sure. I won't say that publicly, but if it is, if you have got a mail, no, stating that it has been increased, it is increased. So you might get all the details or all the confirmation and official mails through your Outlook. So please, make sure that you know, uh, stay updated with all the mails that you get. Make sure that you at least see emails every 2 hours or an hour, or keep updating your, you know, keep updating yourself with all the mails that you get. So I don't think we have any questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop it, or else we'll close this live. So work hours, I don't really recommend that. When people or companies try to increase the work hours, so it's not the fact that how many hours you work. So if you're productive enough for 5 to 6 hours, right, for a day, it is enough to complete the work that you do. Okay, finally, if companies want to, make people productive, then they have to decrease the work hours instead of increasing it. So once you sit and start working, you just need to work 4 to 6 hours a day. You can definitely complete the entire thing. So what you can do is like Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So you can have 3 days of off, and then if you can try to implement that, then people will be more productive since they have enough rest that they can take in between the week. So it will really help people to be more productive and active. So how hard is assessment on? So assessment one, I'm not sure. It will be the basics of your language, right? Aryan, I'm not sure what language you are working. So HR told us about that. Then that is 10 hours even for you guys. So I thought it is for a full-time employee, but even for the intern, so from 8:30 to 6:30, right? So yeah. When will my internship start, bro? My date of joining is 13th Feb. So if your date of joining is 13th Feb, your internship will start on 13th Feb, man. So 13th Feb, you will be onboarded. Like you will have the induction program and other things starting on 13th Feb. So what else we have? Thanks, glad that help you are. Okay, let's see if we have any further questions. So hope we don't have any more questions. Yeah, glad that helped, Bhavya. So we didn't have any helps like this. So when I joined Cognizant, nobody has knowledge of. Nobody told me that this is the what you are gonna do and this is how the internship looks like and other things. So should I look for the same paying startup or yes is good only. So if you want to start work on startup, I highly recommend that you do that. Startups are pretty good nowadays. You learn a lot, but the only thing that job safety is not there if you are just starting off, and if you know that you can get a job, even if the people are, even if the company goes bankrupt, you can get a job in a week or so. You can definitely join on a startup if you know that you have a skill. Then you can definitely join a startup. It is pretty recommended that you join, startup. So you can do that if you know that you can get a job in a week. So after bankrupt, so the anything may happen to a startup. So you choose a startup, right? So make sure that startup is 3 to 4 years of in their starting period. So never join a startup like under a year or so. You might never know the mindset of the founder and co-founders and other investors. So try to join a startup which is up and running for at least 3 to 4 years. So I highly recommend that you do that. You do some research on the startup and then you join in. So that said, any further question, guys? Let's see. Not sure I'm not getting any questions. So, so I hope all your questions have been answered. So catch you on the next live. We'll discuss about the assimilation test and other things. Okay, so what will be the flow of the assimilation test and what you can expect from the standpoint of assimilation is what the questions and what will be the pattern and other things. So we'll see that on the next live on know, Thursday maybe or Saturday. So I'm not sure on the dates, but we'll take up those live as well. Thanks a lot for joining in, guys. So see you on the next live. Until then, take care. Enjoy your stay on Cognizant.